What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Sawdust Talk. Let's go! We've got a great episode lined up for you guys. Get excited. Whew. Let's get Kyle from Woodworkers, or Hayden Custom Woodwork. We'll get Jeff from Tree to Tail on. We'll get Ed from Ed Mancini Woodworking. Gonna be a great episode. Stay tuned as I get everyone in here. Let's see here. How's everyone doing tonight? What's going on?
What's up?
Howdy.
What up?
What's going on?
Hold on. My phone's going to die. Got to get a charger.
Oh, jeez.
I just got a new phone. No longer have that problem, finally.
Let's get everybody in. Welcome to another episode, man.
Thanks, man. You know, I finally stayed up past my bedtime, dude. I've been falling asleep like a little kid the past couple of weeks, man.
Well, I am the main host, Kyle Brewer, and we've got Jeff, who is getting a phone charger on from Tree to Tail, and then we got Ed down over in the corner, and we got Kyle from
Hayden Custom
Woodwork, or Woodworkers for Christ, which I think is what you're on right now, which is awesome. Glad to get some exposure to that account too. So.
Oh, am I on the wrong one? I didn't know which one I was on.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I guess I'll toss it over to Ed and let you give a little introduction to yourself. We'll go around the horn, and then he's frozen. Guess we'll throw it to Jeff first. We'll go around the horn, introduce ourselves a little bit, and then get going. If anybody else has questions, feel free to leave them in the corner in the little question mark box, and we'll get to those throughout the episode. Ed, you're back. It's over to you, man, while Jeff gets settled.
What up? I didn't hear what you said. My bad.
Tell us who you are, a little bit about yourself, and then we'll throw it over to Jeff and introduce our guest.
Oh, sweet. I am Ed Mancini, the one and only. I own and operate Mancini Woodworking. I'm out of Louisville, Kentucky. Currently active duty Army, about to retire here in the next few months, but I go on my terminal leave in actually a couple weeks. I'm a woodworker, I guess. Something like that.
Awesome. All right, Jeff, over to you, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What's going on with you?
Yeah, name's Jeff. I run Tree to Tail Woodco. I'm also a photographer, day job. So I've actually been to Louisville, Kentucky. I almost got hit by a taxi after I got a Louisville slugger bug made.
What?
Yeah, you know that
that's
little
pretty
road,
common, you know.
You know that little road that goes into the Louisville slugger plant?
Yeah.
I thought that was a sidewalk. That's not a sidewalk. You know, fast
that's a
drivers
road, bro.
drive. You know
Yeah.
fast they drive in Louisville. I literally almost got destroyed after I got my back.
So
Anyway.
let me tell you that insurance is the highest in Louisville, Kentucky than it is anywhere in the country. It's horrible.
Wait, for real?
Yep.
I 100% believe that.
Horrible drivers, bro. Horrible.
Yeah, he looked at me like it was my fault. I was like, yeah.
It was, man. It was.
It was my fault, but still, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a sidewalk, to be fair.
It looks like a sidewalk. Have you ever been there? Have you ever been there? Has anyone ever been there besides?
Yeah.
I've been there. It's been a while, though.
It literally looks like a little bike path. I was like, oh, dope. And all of a sudden, I was like, I'm dead. I just had this bat. I was so stoked. It's got my last name engraved on this tiny little slugger bat.
It's so like stoked. This big and stuff?
Yeah, it's like it's like 18, 20 inches. Yeah, but I was just so stoked. And then I was like, and I almost died.
All right. Well, those are my co-hosts, Jeff and Ed. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. And now let's introduce our guest, Kyle from Woodworkers for Christ. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you get started, all that good stuff?
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. So my actual business is Hayden Custom Woodworks. I joined with my other account, which is Woodworkers for Christ, beginning of this year. I decided to start this page to bring people closer together. Kyle does such a phenomenal job building upon the community and putting out motivational content, and I just wanted to steal some of his thunder and kind of bring woodworkers together to share our passion for woodworking and our faith in Christ. So that's why I started Woodworkers for Christ. But aside from that, I've been, woodworking for several years. Hayden Custom Woodworks is the name that I set in 2020, because before that, I actually started out as Custom Furniture by Kyle, and it just wasn't catchy enough. So, sorry, Kyle. But I had to, I wanted to change things up and get a better name that I thought was easier to roll off the tongue and kind of people would remember a little bit better. So I started my official company in 2018, if you will, but I kind of dated it back to 2015.
Nice. That's awesome. I also had that thought about Kyle's Custom Woodworks, and it just didn't catch. So I feel that way.
Everybody always thinks my first name is Hayden. So when that's your last name, like, yeah.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
it's
right?
funny.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought your name was Hayden for like 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was too, to be honest.
Yeah.
I know whenever Jeff and I would talk, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, Hayden." I'm like, "Who are you talking about?" Like,
Talking about Hayden. Don't you know him?
I only knew it as a last name until I got older. Then I realized it's a very popular first name.
Yeah,
sure.
I actually know a couple Haydens that their first name, yeah.
But I can say this: the last name is actually Irish, so it is appropriate. It is fitting.
Nice.
Some people just like the last name so much they made it a first name, I guess.
I do want to point out, though, last week we had 2 Jeffs, and now we have 2 Kyles. So what the hell's going on?
It's the Jeff squared and Kyle squared.
Yeah.
You know what they say, bud? Everything great starts with a Jeff.
Oh, Jeff, I appreciate you and your humor every time.
I love it. Love everyone.
So,
hey, what's going on for the night? What's the theme? Oh yeah, we're talking. So Woodworkers for Christ. So do you guys go like across the world and build like houses for third world countries, or what do you guys plan on doing here?
Well, it's just me. Like, I mean, I am you
So
guys.
we'll build a hut.
So it's just me, and I just wanted to start a community on Instagram just to kind of put out motivational content every day like Kyle does. I might share an inspirational quote, a Bible verse, just something every morning, and just to brighten somebody's day. Because, I was actually having a conversation earlier this afternoon, especially in light of all the tragic events that are, going on around our country today with the school shootings and such. But you never know what's going on in somebody's mind. You never know somebody that may be having suicidal tendencies. I was an Air Force veteran for 10 years, and we did suicide training once a year. It's a yearly refresher, and you never know that negative thing somebody hears might be the straw that breaks their back and might make them snap. So kindness and compassion and inspiration, the next positive thing they hear might just save their life.
Yeah, you never know what anyone's dealing with inside, man. You never know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. People get really good at hiding it too.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, it takes like trained individuals or people that have been in that situation before to really notice it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't. I TDY'd to Alaska in 2015 in June of 15. And I was a debrief analyst at the time. I was an avionics technician by trade, but I was actually really qualified and good at my job. So I applied and got the debrief analyst position for a temporary duty. And I actually got to work directly with my supervision. And one of my LTs, I became really close with her and got to talk to her and got to know her over this TDY. Well, I got out of the Air Force in 16, and nobody knows why. She took her life in her dorm room in a deployment in 2016, and nobody knows why. And you would have never thought there was anything wrong with her.
That's fucking awful.
Yeah.
It is. It's terrible.
My condolences.
Dude, that's terrible, man.
I appreciate your service too.
I appreciate your service.
Yeah,
always gotta say that. Yeah. I don't know what you did, but I appreciate what you did.
No, I mean, thank you both, and thank you to everybody in all of our services. I mean, I think it takes a lot to do that, and we all appreciate it. So
it's one. So with the Woodworkers for Christ, like I know that I'm looking at it right now, and it's motivational postings. And have you thought about taking on other individuals to be part of that, and maybe collectively coming together to I don't know, make products for something or whatever. I don't know.
I absolutely have. And one of the things that I have done, and I've been so busy because I'm a full-time college student right now, and I just got done with school, and I've been catching up on some orders. I like to keep myself busy. I think sometimes I spread myself a little too thin, but hey, you know what? It keeps it interesting. So, but I digress. So what I did actually do was I partnered with George Supply Company, and I got T-shirts printed. And what we're doing is Brady at I Can't Stand Woodworking, along with my nephew, both suffered from the same form of spinal cancer, and they both were left paraplegic. And
Oh, wow.
so what I was doing was partnering with Georgia Supply Company, and all the profits from all the T-shirts we sell with the Woodworkers for Christ logo on them, all of those profits are going to Brady and my nephew. They're being split 50-50, and it's whatever we can raise. I mean, it's not going to be much, but it's something to help them with their medical bills and their home accessibility needs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've been slacking.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
I haven't done it as much, but on Wednesdays I've been doing a segment called Workshop Wednesday, and I have any maker that I can find in the community that wants to be featured, and I just post their bio, a little bit of information about them, kind of what Kyle does in Sawdust Talk, only instead of a show, it's just a post. But I'm doing the same thing, and just put a post out about them, like a picture of them, their logo, what they do, a little bio about themselves, and so forth and so on. But one of the things I would love to do is, if I could get people together in a localized area and essentially establish chapters, and we could combine our skill sets and kind of embark on volunteer opportunities, Habitat for Humanity, or something along those lines, to where we can make a difference and impact people's lives in a positive way. That'd be amazing. And what Woodworks by Mac is doing with the what's it called?
Him and Dusty Dad Woodworks, I think, are partnering on that.
Essentially, the exact same thing of what they're doing is what I would love to do with it.
Right.
And
I think
what are they doing?
It's all about like finding like people that like are in that space, and like you guys can join up and kind of push it forward, right? Like kind of what I'm trying to do with all of you, like get you guys involved with Sawdust Talk, and like let's take this to the next level, right? Yeah. Like, because I'm just one person, but like the more people that you get involved, like the more like momentum you can get behind it, I think. So
yeah, for sure.
It's Woodworkers for the cause, Makers for the Cause. So yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, I before he did that, I'm like, well, that's exactly what I was trying to do. Thanks for stealing my thunder, Mac.
Hey, there's room for everybody. There's
exactly.
room for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
They hate us because they ain't us. Remember that.
They hate us because they ain't us.
Ain't us.
Well, I mean, I think to your point, Ed, like there is so much room within this community. Like we can, and there's different areas, right? Like you don't absolutely have to do the same thing that they're doing. I'm sure you're going to do it some slightly different, right? So like that's what's great about this community is there's room for all of us to do, slightly different things and make the most of it.
I have yet come across a single woodworker locally that has been intimidated by the fact that you're another woodworker.
No.
You know what I mean? Like everybody has been so generous and sharing their wisdom and whatever knowledge they have. Like it's people, I haven't encountered that yet. So, I mean, that's a blessing. Like the community is phenomenal. Like you can't ask for a better community that you're not like competing with each other. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of room at the table for us. It's like a restaurant getting mad at another restaurant. Hey, you're selling food. I want to sell food. It's like we all need.
Everybody
food,
could sell food.
But to touch on your point earlier as well, one of the things I would like to do is in line with selling the T-shirts, which like I said, I've been so busy with things. But I would love to get all the makers together if people wanted to if we could really make a difference for Brady and my nephew, and build cutting boards, coasters, some small items, and actually get together. I don't know how the shipping and the logistics would work, but get together as a collective and auction these items off in some capacity and donate all those profits to Brady and my nephew to really raise some money for them.
That's awesome. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
If we get it going, I'm sure you can get a lot of us on board, man. I'm sure we'd all be willing to chip in.
One big party. I'm always down to party.
Party.
TJ is putting a bunch of questions down in the question box. So thank you, TJ. If anyone else has questions, feel free to throw them down there. I'm going to throw a couple up and we'll kind of go through them. And Ed and Jeff, if you want to jump in on these too, feel free. First question, what is a project that intimidates you and why? And, when do you feel like you're going to go after it, or kind of what's holding you back from attacking it?
You know what? Every project that I enjoy intimidates me. Because if I'm not intimidated, I'm not challenging myself enough.
Did you script that?
I did not.
Did you script that? Hey, I see you reading on a teleprompter.
I was like, that's like
forth.
too perfect of an answer. Like, did you prep?
I sat at my bench earlier and drilled dowels in the hole of 36 balusters, perfectly centered for this bookshelf. I actually was talking with Brent at Clean Cut Woodworks, and he suggested, hey, why don't you put these balusters at a 45-degree angle? And I'm like, my initial thought was like, well, if I did the dominoes, then I have to put that domino at a 45-degree angle. And I'm like, wait a second, I could just do dowels, but then I've got to figure out how to get these dowels centered. So anyway, it was intimidating, but it's like, if you're not intimidated, you're not pushing your own limits. If you're in your comfort zone, and you're like, oh, I just a cutting board, or oh, just this, I've done that a million times, no big deal. You're not learning. If you're not afraid, you're not learning. There's 4 zones in life. There's your comfort zone, your fear zone, your learning zone, and your growth zone. You're stuck in your comfort zone, and it's hard to see past that fear zone. But once you see past that fear zone into your growth zone, now you're growing. And your learning zone. And then once you get past that learning zone, now you're in your growth zone, and the cycle repeats itself. So that's intimidation.
I have a different way of how I say those things, actually, Kyle. I say there's 4 mountains in life you climb. You climb self-doubt to get your confidence. You have loss for perspective. You climb resentment for peace. And then you climb your failure to grow.
Absolutely. And if you guys look at the post I put out today on Woodworkers for Christ, there's like, I think 9 different pictures of about transformation, about your self-doubt, your unapologetic. There's a bunch of them on there. I can't recall all of them on the top of my head, but yeah, read those when you get a chance. They're really good.
Oh, I will.
That's pretty interesting.
That's awesome. No, I
don't have 4 different ways to say that. So whatever.
See ya,
and I was thinking the same thing.
Gotta go.
I like both of the way you both put that, but I don't have, ditto.
I mean,
yeah.
If you want to challenge yourself in life, and I can equate it back to this. I wanted to ride motocross so bad when I was younger, so much. I wanted to do it so bad. I didn't get my first dirt bike till I was 17 years old. Never ridden a dirt bike in my life, but all my buddies did. I'm like, I want to do it. I want to do it. I wanted it. Well, guess what? I didn't saddle up and go ride with the slow guys in my neighborhood. All my buddies were A riders, and they've been riding all their lives. And guess what? It was April of 2000 when I got my first ever dirt bike. And by the end of the summer, I was hitting 75-foot triples. And I mean, I was right with these guys. And my buddy's father looked at me. He's like, I have never seen somebody throw their leg over a bike and learn as quickly as you did. He's like, I've never seen it. I don't know how you've done it. Because I was challenged by people that were better than me. And it was I was intimidated because these guys were fast. But you know what? I had to learn how to keep up. That's essentially it in a nutshell.
Thrown into the wolves.
That's insane, man. That's cool.
Easter fam.
Ed, Jeff, I'll throw it over to you guys. You can ask the next question if you want. If you guys can see that.
So this is a question that that I like to ask a lot, but also Lincoln Woodworks has also posted a question. What has been one of your most rewarding builds? And like, that's when I usually ask that question, it's like, what is the build that means the most to you and why?
I actually touched on this exact question the last time I was on here. I love Dusty Lumber Company, and thanks for the question, Chad. Dusty Lumber Company is amazing with his castle joinery. And last year, I was asked by a couple to build them a dining room table, and I wanted to build a piece of furniture with no metal hardware. So Kyle photos, I took Dusty's ideas, and I built a white oak dining room table with castle joinery and half laps and interlocking joints. And I even actually elaborated on what he did, because he just made the castle joints and then slipped the overlapping, the aprons inside the castle joint. But I went a step further and put shoulders on the aprons so that they actually rested up against the outside of those castle joints to just prevent racking. So I took it a little bit further. And then I also, which was the most challenging part, which really intimidated me, was scaling it down for the benches. Everything was scaled down, and those castle joints for the benches were the size of my pinky. And I actually snapped one of them and had to like re-glue it all because it was challenging making something that small.
Yeah.
So that I bought my Laguna F2, my cabinet saw in January of 2020 or 21, sorry. Yeah, January 21, and that saw pushed me to build my that saw and that project pushed me to build several different jigs to cut that cast joinery. It also pushed me to build my table saw sled. So that project was the most rewarding because not only did I learn a lot on that project, but just all the jigs and things that I had to do around that project. Really, that's got to be the most rewarding project ever.
That's awesome. What did you have before that Laguna, if you don't mind me asking?
Like a 1980 Sears Model 10 that gifted to me. That the drive shaft, the pulley, the belt pulley would constantly like loosen up, and it would be tight, and it sound. You just hear this. This thing just rattling. And I remember one time my friend was like, "Is that safe?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's safe. Don't worry about it. It's good." Like it can't fall off. I was like, it's so wallered out, it just can't fall off. I just got to keep wrenching the Allen key down. But it was a free table saw, and I had I got shared the story with Kyle when I was deployed in 2014. When I got home, I saved all my money on my deployment, and I went to Lowe's and bought that's when I really outfitted my shop the first time, and I had a Porter cable job site saw, but nothing fancy. So the Laguna was my first. What did you say? Like proper table saw upgrade?
Yeah.
What do you think is like the most important tool in your shop?
Your hands.
Hands.
You want to have all 10 digits when you leave. That's the most important part.
Eyeballs.
Yeah. Close your eyes while you saw.
If I had one tool that I could most with, it'd be a table saw. And I said that before. Table saw is the heartbeat of my shop. It really is. I mean, I can use it as a miter saw, cross cutting. Yeah, it's got to be a table saw.
Yeah. Do you have the standard like miter gauge on it, or did you upgrade that?
No, actually, I just bought the Incura miter gauge for it because I'm doing this bookshelf project behind me, and I just did that console table, and I wish I would have had it when I did that, so I could have cut those legs at a 5-degree angle. Because my table saw sled is great, but what I was actually doing was taking my angle gauge and CA gluing blocks of wood to my table saw sled, doing it the hard way to get my angles, and they were proper, but it just took me a lot of time to set it up. So having this miter gauge is just like, 5 degrees, I'm good. So I don't have to take all that extra time, because that's one thing I found out. Efficiency is key. If I'm taking 10 minutes to set something up to make sure it's straight, whereas I could just 2 seconds and lock it into 5 degrees and go. That's, I like doing things the hard way. I had this conversation earlier with somebody. I learned the hard way, but then I appreciate the easy way after the fact.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. So I'm a chatty guy today. So I have a question. So you have a little background growing up woodworking with your dad, right?
Yes.
So as you progress through life, you have growing up woodworking with dad, you have a term of military service, you have college right now, you have whatever else. Like what has the last, 20 years been like for Kyle Hayden?
Man, I'll tell you what, I was the biggest moron. Literally, 20 years ago, I was 18 years old, and I was the biggest just idiot when I got out of high school. I had no sense of direction, didn't know where I wanted to go. But, in a lot of ways, that prepared me. Man, this is a lot to answer right here, Ed, but I'll try to give you the Cliff Notes version. I didn't know what I wanted to do out of high school. No plans for college. No idea what I was going to do. So I worked at a machine shop, and that's what I talked to Kyle about the other day. I actually transitioned and went to the dark side, man. I worked in a CNC lathe and mill shop when I was like 18 years old. And
Learn a lot.
I did that. I mean, I learned, but just wasn't my cup of tea, and I tried to do a couple other things, and then I ended up working in a metal stamping plant, running a CNC mill and some different presses. But after like a year and a half of that, I was let go for poor attendance because I literally had a nervous breakdown doing that job because I knew that that's not where my life was going to go. It's not where I wanted to be. I was not happy. And I mean, I was only 21 years old, man. And I mean, having a nervous breakdown at 21 years old because I was just that unsatisfied.
Yeah.
I'm very depressed. And my mom had actually talked to my cousin, and he was in Aviano Air Base in Italy. And I was like, Air Force. I was like, I was like, what else am I going to do with my life? And so I joined the Air Force in history, did 10 years in the Air Force as an avionics technician, and then I finished my last 2 years out as a debrief analyst. And then I got out in 16 because I got orders to Japan. And it was not the time in my life at 32 years old, after being at the same base my entire career, to uproot my family. I just got married, just had a kid, just bought a house. I'm like, I'm not trying to uproot my family and go across the country. It's time to make like a tree and grow some roots. So I did that. I got out of the Air Force, worked as an industrial maintenance tech at a laminate flooring company in Garner, North Carolina for a year. Low man on the totem pole, laid off. So then I reached out to a company that I interviewed with when I got out of the Air Force, and I was actually a production supervisor for the compression encapsulation department at Thermo Fisher Scientific in Greenville, North Carolina. Did that for 2 years, and the pharmaceutical industry just wasn't for me. I was really conflicted about leaving, but I waited until I was vested in my 401k so I didn't lose out. And I was like, I've got to reinvent the wheel, and I've got to do something. All the while, I had the conversation with Kyle. Like I was woodworking when I was young and doing it, but I didn't take it seriously when I was in high school. I just didn't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't go to vocational school like my brother did. I just didn't really, it wasn't a thing I wanted to do. So I started tinkering in 2014, building furniture for my house, banging 2x4s together and having fun with that. But, I did that thing, and I was okay at it. It was what it was. But when I got out of when I left that company, I sat there, and I'll tell you what my aha moment was. I was staring at a picture of my kids on the wall, my page, and I'm like, you know what? Is this how I want to see my children every night? Is this how I want to be in their life, staring at a picture on a wall? And I knew I was in there. I'm providing for them, but I'm not there. I'm not home. I was like, this isn't acceptable. And I was like, God told me it was time to leave. It's like, it's time. And I didn't know what in the hell I was going to do. And then all of a sudden it's just like, you're going to go back to school. And I'm like, okay. So I enrolled in college and used my GI Bill. And now I'm 2 semesters and 8 classes away from getting my bachelor's in marketing.
Nice.
So in those 3 years, if I had not taken that leap of faith, if I hadn't taken that leap of faith and listened and left, my woodworking wouldn't be anywhere near where it is today, because one of the things I've had the last 3 years is time. That's the most valuable commodity we have as human beings, is time. And the fact that I have it now is amazing, and I've been able to utilize time the past 3 years to really develop my skills as a woodworker, along with simultaneously getting my degree. I know that'd be a long-winded answer, dude.
No, you're good. That's good. It defines, it shows who you are, where you came from. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, like, as you being in the Army yourself, I would be a complete failure if I had not had my military bearing instilled in me. I would not be near the man that I am today without my 10 years of military service. That completely made me the person I am. It's everything. So I didn't want to go to the Air Force, but unfortunately it was time, So,
when you know.
That's it.
Right. Well, again, thank you, man. And just to echo that sentiment, like Kyle said, like I asked him, like, hey, give me a little bit about like yourself, like who you are, so I can kind of post about you. And he sent me, I don't know, it was probably like, 6 or 7 paragraphs. Like it was like a novel. And I was like, how do I make this digestible for everybody else? Like,
It's
That's
a
so
lot.
funny.
I mean, to summarize for everybody, I mean, it's really amazing, like reading all that and seeing kind of everything that you've been through, how, like growing up, you saw your dad working on houses and kind of doing that. And then you were building ramps or building tree houses. Like, how cool is that? And then all of a sudden, you give it up, you go somewhere else with your life. Right. And then at some point you come back to it. Right. And that's what's cool, right? Like, anybody can come back to this like hobby or side business or whatever it is for you. Like, it's such a unique thing, right? That you can just like go back to it and kind of pick it up and keep learning and building. So I just wanted to say, like, man, it's just so cool to see everyone's journey like that. So thanks for sharing, man.
Oh, absolutely.
All right,
guys
Jeff,
ever-
for you, man, what do you got for us?
You guys ever notice when someone's talking and look at everyone else's faces, we all look just like so dumbfounded staring in the screen?
Is that a good or a bad thing?
No, I just noticed that because I was intently like listening to Kyle's heartfelt speech, and I watched everyone else, and we're just like this.
Yeah, like this. Like,
Yeah, it's like,
oh,
wow,
man.
we're excited.
Whoa.
We are excited. Okay, I guess I'll read a question here. Send me Woodworks. What's one thing your shop you wouldn't ever? Oh fuck! Did we already ask this one?
No.
Okay.
No.
What's one thing in your shop you wouldn't ever get rid of?
One
No,
thing
I-
I ever get rid of.
Myself, because I need myself to do the chores and the tasks in the shop. Hello.
You know what? I'm going to give the most unusual answer. And you know what that answer is? Electricity, because I'm not a hand tool guy. Never get rid of.
Mark.
Fair enough.
That's
Touche.
awesome.
Touche.
I got a lot of power tools in here that would do me no good without electricity.
Okay, so other than your table saw, what other tool can you not live without?
Man, I don't know. Probably
A tape measure.
true. A pencil.
No, I mean, like, seriously though, like a power tool that you use a lot.
A drill. Do you really want a screwdriver in everything you have to do for the rest of your life? We're going back to 1910.
It's a hard question to answer because I use everything for its intended purpose. Like, I mean, I run my stuff with the joiner, then the planer, then the table saw. Like, I don't use the planer for a flattening sled. I don't use my table saw to join things unless I really absolutely have to, because it's too long to go through the joiner. But I mean, I really use everything for its intended purpose. So, like, I mean, I go from like part 1 to step 2 to step 3 to step 4 to step 5, and I mean, I trust the process. So, man, it's hard. But honestly, really, the one thing I really wouldn't want to give up is my assembly table behind me. I finally have a surface big enough that's level to work on, so that makes things much easier. So that's probably what I would say is my workbench, because I finally have a nice one.
It is, man. It's so nice. I have always been just eyeing that every time you post pictures of them, like, oh my god, that's amazing, and I'm so jealous.
Me too.
Nice.
And I always think, like, I could put so much stuff in those little cubbies. Like, I could it's like Narnia in there and just get lost and crap.
Nice.
I've got my flattening sled is right underneath it here, and then some of my table saw jigs are on the backside. But you know what this is the most valuable for? I love storing my track underneath of it because it'll never get damaged.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, I can sit it up on here and knock it off, or lay it on my workbench and drop something on it, but underneath there, it's in a safe haven. So yeah, storing stuff under there is awesome. I've got my juice screw jigs underneath there, everything.
So, are you working out of your garage?
Unfortunately,
Is that a 2-car garage?
it is about so if I minus the refrigerator and lawnmower and all that stuff, I'm working in about a 14 by 20 foot space.
Oh
with
my god!
one circuit breaker.
That's luxury.
One circuit breaker. Jesus.
I have to run an extension cord into my house, into my kitchen every day, because I have to have 2 circuit breakers so I can run my shop vac and my table saw, or my shop vac and my planer. I can't, and because I have my refrigerator behind me. And when
Is your panel maxed out?
Do what?
Is your panel maxed out?
No, I haven't added anything. I'm not an electrician. There's one thing I respect: I don't mess with electricity.
Oh yeah, no, trust me.
I value my life way too much.
I made friends with an electrician, had him come to the house, and I had him show me how to put the first one in. And after he showed me that, I put all the rest of them in.
Gotcha. I just need, I do need to get a panel, but I want to run my Laguna to 220. So if I'm going to upgrade, I'm going all the way. But my plan is to build a 30 by 40 shop in my backyard. I've got an acre backyard, so I want to have a 30 by 40 shop. So I don't have to carry sawdust into my house, and I want to give the garage back to my wife so that she can put the car in here.
They don't need it.
Out of the car when it
You're
rains.
fine. You're fine.
Now, you say the plan is. Now, is that a plan or is that a dream? Like,
That's the plan.
That's a plan. All right.
Jeff, are you married?
What?
Are you married?
No.
Happy wife, happy life. You'll learn that one day.
No. Happy by yourself, happy together. That's how it works.
It's if you ever heard the story of the bridge, you're happy on this side of the bridge, but once you cross it, you never want to go back. It's that kind of thing.
No.
So I guess, Kyle, give us a time. What's going on? Like, are you, looking at this year and the next 5 years? Kind of, what's your timeline for this?
I'm not.
That's awesome.
Next summer, I would love to have my shop up and running, really going full-fledged my business. But right now, with the economy and just the world in general, the way things are going, it's the most anxious time to start an actual business and to invest any kind of money in anything. Because right now we're on the on the verge of a recession or a depression. So,
What's happening?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, based on all the financial analysts and all the people that I've been listening to, we don't know right now. It's a flip of a quarter. So, I mean, I've got to look at my family's security and well-being at this point in time. If it was just me, I'd just go for it. But I've got mouths to feed, and I mean, I want to do it. So it is a plan. That's what I'm going to school for, is to market myself and to build my brand and to grow my company. But I don't want to take food out of my children's mouths. I don't want to put too much liability over my family's heads either.
On the other side of the token, though, if this is going to be your business, your brand, you market yourself, then this is your livelihood. This is how you put food on the table. Yeah. So it's another thing to think about. Whereas you don't want to take food out of their mouths, but you want to make sure they have enough on the table to take. So that's something investing into you is investing into your brand, into your business to build.
Well, that's true. But if we hit a pandemic, another pandemic, a recession, a depression, and people don't have disposable income to buy furniture and wooden goods, I could post as many Instagram videos as I want. But if people don't have money, it's just one of those things. Like, what we do, you have to look at it from an honest perspective. In some capacity, it's a necessity, but in another capacity, it's a luxury. So
I kind of think that people are always going to have the desire to buy custom-made anything, no matter what. It doesn't matter if you're
get smaller. That's all.
It'll just get smaller, right?
That's
and
true.
maybe the quality is always going to be there, and that's the thing. Is like people are going to get sick of paying nickels and dimes for Walmart crap. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
and I hope that we haven't. I think that they're trying to kind of push to this younger generation disposable, planned obsolescence, if you will. I hope that we can teach the younger generation to appreciate quality as much as the older generation does.
I mean, it's such an interesting topic, right? Like quality versus cost effectiveness, right? Like, because I mean, we can all agree that some things that we buy are not quality products, and I'll spend whatever amount on cheap whatever. But I mean, just the fact that that high end furniture, it's always going to be there, right? It's like you said, Ed and Jeff, it's going to shrink a little bit, right? Yeah. And how do you get the most out of that? But it's hard. But and I'm with you, Kyle. It to me, I want to dive more into building stuff for other people, and I've got a potential potential table build for one of my friends. But
buddy.
Do it full blown, it's just scary, right? Good. So hey, jump into that not knowing everything else that's going wrong with the world. Like, is there going to be a market for me? Like, am I going to be able to make enough money to support my family and my kids? And it's hard, you know, it's a tough situation.
And that's why my
degree
degree is a safe place to land. I can always come back to something. But, and you know, you see a lot of woodworkers out there doing a lot of little things, coasters, cutting boards, security boards, epoxy, and things like that. But I really want to take it to a next level, and it's what I'm learning in school, it's differentiation. I want to offer the market something that doesn't really exist, but it does exist. But I want to offer it in a larger capacity, and that's building larger, more heirloom quality furniture. That's what I want to do. I love building bigger things that most people just don't do or don't have the time or the capability to do. So that's how I want to differentiate myself so that I can, position myself better to make this sustainable. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm going to look at it from a realistic point of view, and I'm not going to Vegas and throwing everything on black. You know what I mean?
Red.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you what, though, if you want to make sure that you're marketing something that will never go away, you build for something that will never go away, which is birth and death, right? Those are two things you can guarantee in life, that people will be born and people will die.
I need to build cribs.
Start making cribs, start making urns, start making coffins.
There we go.
And then pitch them to every funeral home you know.
That's it. That's it.
That might be the best answer I've ever heard.
Because that's a never-ending business.
It'll never end. Like, a guarantee is those things, right?
Right.
So, and you could even, you could take that a step further, right? So, birth and death, you could apply it to animals because people treat their animals like kids. So now you have animal little, boxes for their ashes and all this. You can go ham on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hard as a motherfucker.
And you have to eat, so you need a table. I would say tables in there.
Yeah, you got to eat.
Let's see here. On a lighter note,
note.
TJ asked what your favorite workshop beer was.
TJ, I'm like a bear, man. I come out in the summertime and I hibernate in the winter. So I like my lighter stuff in the summertime when it's hot outside. I like my porters and stouts in the wintertime when it's cold outside. So I'm a very seasonal kind of guy. Like I go with the ebbs and flows. Like sometimes it's sour, sometimes an IPA, sometimes a Pilsner. So it's whatever the mood calls for the season. So it's variety is a spice of life, my friend.
All right. So if we went to your fridge right now, what are you pulling out?
Right now, I'm drinking the Founders All IPA. It's just a chill little 4.7% IPA.
Oh God. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, just
little session
over here.
All right. It's the same ABV as Bud Light and a lot more flavorful.
Nice.
All right. What do you guys go-to beers?
So what do we what?
What's your go-to beers?
Oh, I don't drink.
Okay.
You smoke?
Vitamin water. I don't drink. I don't smoke.
Oh, okay.
I got my water beside me, but no, I don't smoke.
Energy drinks and vitamin water.
Jeff?
I smoke, yeah.
No. What's your go-to beer?
Oh, yeah.
October 1st, I'll be.
I drink pretty much anything craft beer. So anytime I go to the liquor store, I just pick out a new beer I think I like. And I do agree with Kyle. I do like sours and like a little bit lighter beers in the summer. But I will also drink them in the winter too.
Oh yeah, I'm not drinking them in the wintertime, but I just you don't want to drink a porter or a stout on a hot day. Absolutely not. Like
Absolutely, you do.
And drinking a gallon of milk.
It's delicious.
Yeah, me.
Delicious and nutritious, and you get vitamin D from the sun.
Yeah, you get all kinds of vitamins.
Mm-hmm.
Drink a nice heavy stout on a cold winter day. It puts a little bit of meat on your bones, keeps you warm.
That's like your one a day vitamin right there.
Do you have any woodpecker tools, and are they worse than my? Oh my God!
Shut up. That's every show, right? That's so funny. I like Cornerstone Woodworks' question. Would any of you take TJ to prom?
Oh yeah,
absolutely. I would. He's a beaut.
Yeah, but the question is what are you going in? Like, what color is your tux? What are you renting for a vehicle to get there? Like,
Me
that's
and
the real
him are
question.
going Dumb and Dumb style.
Yeah,
I'll be bright orange.
that's what
He
I was
can be
thinking.
light
What?
blue.
I was
Oh,
thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
This is a great segue. So I was actually on live
A nice
early.
pair of Hooters.
I was on live early when I was drilling all these holes, and TJ was on there. He's like, I want to be prom queen. I'm like, well, TJ, we're in the day and age where you can make that happen. You can be a woman, and you could probably like pull Billy Madison, and you want to identify as a fourth grader. You could just go back to elementary school all the way over.
It's so funny.
Oh, that's amazing. So let's talk. Oh my God. TJ, I wasn't sure if you were on or not. So
He said, I'll wear the prettiest dress.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
He's
What
putting
color
out
is your
for
dress?
sure. He's putting out for sure.
What color dress? I'm curious.
oh.
Oh, I will, bud. I will.
He's going to have that little wrap around his leg and everything for you.
Inner thigh fun.
That's
I'm
it.
there. Yeah.
So Kyle, let's talk your favorite wood species. After you go to prom, what wood are you working on, man?
Dude, you know what? I remember the question last time, and I didn't really know. I didn't really know what to say. You know what? After that in-grain cutting board, I know what it is. In-grain yellow canary is absolutely amazing. So yellow canary is definitely up there.
I've only seen that once at my mill. They only had like a little
Where
bit
did
of
everyone go?
it. Uh-oh. Oh, there he goes. Wow, that's a face to pop in there.
Oh, hi. Didn't see you there.
Hey guys, everybody froze on me, so I was just trying to figure out where everybody went. I was just waiting for you to come back.
Oh yeah, and I actually made some of that yellow canary. TJ got one of the bookmarks I made, so I did. It was Wangay, yellow heart on the outsides, Wangay, and then yellow canary in the middle.
That's awesome.
Like an
Dude, those
enamel
look
bar.
sick, too. Those are cool.
What do you make the most of?
You know, man, I'm like a bear when it's hungry it eats. I don't care what it is. Like, and that's another thing, differentiation. Like, I'll do anything. I've built decks, I've built stairs, I've built bookmarks, the bookcases, tables, cutting boards, cabinets. I just want to build something, and I don't. If you're paying, I'll build it. I don't care what it is. So, like,
I'd like to see you build an abacus.
You know what? I'm sure I could. I don't know how I would cut all those.
I'm going to see that. I'm going to see it on your feed.
I think a hole saw would probably do it, but sanding those down might be a little difficult.
So, what's your least favorite project that you ever worked on?
Least favorite. That's a good one.
Like one that you're like, I hope I never have to do that again.
Probably a bookshelf.
Can we do like the Family Feud pass? I'll come back to that one. I'll take note of it. I got to think about that one for a minute.
Don't worry. We got 1,000 questions here. I'll figure out what we could have.
Are they all from TJ? Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're TJ's.
Oh, yeah. TJ has replaced me.
Let's see. I'm listening to you guys, but I'm gonna keep thinking of that one.
How about this one? What's something fun you've done with your family recently, or for your family that you built?
Recently,
You go to Disneyland?
what have we done recently? We're getting ready to go.
You went to Disneyland, didn't you? Or that wasn't you?
No, that wasn't me.
Oh fuck, who was that? Never mind.
That was Myers
Wasn't me.
Woodshop, man.
It was him?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's who it was. Yeah, I thought,
Yeah.
We went to a park, but we're planning on. We're getting ready to go to New Jersey and visit my wife's sister. She hasn't seen her in 2 years, so that's the kind of something we're planning. Me and my wife works, doing things, and we just haven't. I've been in school, and then I'm doing homework, so we haven't had a chance to go anywhere because I can't leave during the semester because my attendance is counted.
Gotcha. How? Okay, tell us about your kids. How many kids do you have? What's going on with them?
I got 3 kids.
I know you're a family man.
Hold on, let me. They're my kiddos right there.
Oh. You got 3, man. That's cool.
Yeah. My daughter Megan is 2. My daughter Morgan is 3. She'll be 4 in November, and my son Mason is 6. He'll be 7 in July.
Oh my gosh.
And then my dog
Cool.
Matt just turned 10 in May. And no, the M's were not all intentional, but it just kind of happened that way.
Hey.
That's cool. That's awesome.
But the youngest was intentional because we named our son Mason and our daughter Morgan. We already had our dog Madison. And then we were thinking of names. And I'm like, we've got to pick an M name now. And we looked at the name Megan and we didn't like it. And I was driving one day and I called my wife. I'm like, yes, we got to go with Megan. She's like, I thought you said you didn't like it. I was like, I didn't. But now I do. She's like, why did you change your mind all of a sudden? I was like, because I just took the MA off of Mason and the GAN off of Morgan and combined them. I was like, you know what that means? One day when they're teenagers, we're going to hear the argument, well, you're named after me, because you know it's coming.
That's funny.
That is awesome.
That does make sense, though. You take the A and G. Yeah, I just did the math there.
Spelled traditionally, but you know what? People never spell names correctly. So,
yeah, because I looked up. I was talking to one of my buddies there, and he's like, "Yeah, my daughter's name's Megan. Guess how many times it's spelled?" I'm like, "Okay." So I look it up. It's like there's like 18 different types of spelling for Meghan and Meghan and Megan. It's just like, okay, well, these aren't actually Megan then. Like, okay? He's like, oh, yeah, I know. Like, who the hell's Meghan? That's not Megan. That's Meghan. An H in there, you're going Meghan. Anyway,
Meghan.
continuing on.
Oh, that's amazing.
So go back to that least favorite project. Dude, honestly, I like the bookmarks, but they're probably one of the least favorite things I do. Just because they're so small and tedious, and I've just got to do the same thing. Like, the last batch was 101.
Damn.
Oh, my God.
Yes. And it's just like, because, like I said earlier about the intimidation thing, like you might be intimidated and you might hate a project while you're doing it. But after the fact, you're like, yep, I just did that. I might have hated it, but I love it now because it's finished.
Do you sell your stuff on Etsy?
No.
How thin are your bookmarks?
So you got 100 bookmarks. Where are they all going? Like they were already promised, or
I use promo items and give away. Like I literally, my wife's old professor was a professor at the early childhood department at a local community college. I stopped in the library and gave like 20 of them away at the library just to librarians. It's all about marketing, you know, and they're just promotional gifts. Like literally, they came out of my scrap bin, all the wood.
Oh, so yeah, like it's lost leader is what it is.
Sell some of them. Some people bought some, so if people wanted to pay me for them, I sold them, and if not, I use them as promo items to plant that seed in people's minds.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I gave my professors on campus a lot. Gave some to my professors. I sent some to Macy at Sweet Pine Design. So
all right. So since you have kids and you are a full-time student, when do you get your woodworking done?
You know, man, that's a good thing because this semester I had earlier classes and I only had like one 8 a.m. class on Wednesday. So I was able to come home after that. And like this day was my woodworking class, but there's ebbs and flows to it because if I've got like a long paper to write or something, it's a logistical like balancing act, man. Just like to kind of see where I can push this to there or do this here. So, but honestly, as I get in the higher level courses, it does get a little harder. So come this fall and spring, I'm in nothing but 400 level courses. So there's going to be a lot more time devoted to study. So it's going to be a lot more difficult for me to actually get into my, get into stuff. So whenever time allows and whenever my homework allows. It's not, I tell you, 36 years old, sitting in a classroom as a true freshman, like, I don't know where the hell I'm at, And the kids. I
mean, props to you, though, for doing that, right? Like, I mean, it takes a lot of courage and, like, a certain individual to do that and kind of get over your fears, like you said, of uncomfortableness.
I know I didn't listen to anything when I was 18 years old, but, I'm not a professor that's 38 years old. I'm their peer 38 years old. And I like to believe that these kids look at me reinventing the wheel later in life. And I like to pay attention to something. And I've been able to kind of impact them and make a difference and, kind of influence them in some capacity. When I know there's a few students I have, but I hope it's more than I think.
That's awesome. That's cool. Jeff, you lose power down there? What's going on, man?
I'm sitting in my kitchen, actually, because I moved lots of my stuff up to my kitchen table so I could work in the natural sun and hang out with my dog at the same time. So my screen keeps going off. It's like I call it the welfare light. It's just the computer light that's illuminating my light right now.
Oh, gotcha.
That's funny.
Yeah. So it goes to sleep and it's like, oh no, see ya. Gotta go, dog. Gotta go.
All right, so we're winding up on time. You want to do a quick rundown of this or that, kind of some hot topics for Kyle? Throw at him real quick.
Sure.
We'll go around and get some quick answers from you, Kyle.
Let's do it.
So I know that you just got a new phone. So iPhone or Samsung?
iPhone.
All right.
Music or no music in the shop?
You know what? I just had a conversation on this, and I'll be short-winded. I don't like headphones on. I don't mind music in the background, but then when your power tools are on, you can't hear it. And I was telling my buddy, I was like, I don't like music because I like to hear my tools. It's like riding motocross. I like to hear my bike. I know what gear I'm in by the way my RPM sound. I was planing something down. I was and I like to explain things to him. See, I can hear when the joiner's not engaging in the wood. So I can hear that difference. So I know when there was a bow in it. I was like, I know when that bow's out of there by the way it feels, but I can hear it too. So I love to hear my tools. I love to know what's going on by sound as well.
So you're deaf, is what you're saying?
No, I'm not. Not at all. I couldn't hear it, Jeff.
I like to feel the music.
I like to just feel the wood. Yes. Oh, yeah.
That was
I
kind
was
of
gonna
weird.
say,
There you go.
got a
All
high
right, Jeff, over to
RPM.
you.
What?
You're
This
up.
or that.
Oh yeah. Hand tools or power tools?
Power tools.
Yeah. There you go.
Home Depot or Lowe's?
Lowe's, and there's a reason for it because my school of business is actually named after Robert Tillman, which was the former CEO and chairman of Lowe's. Lowe's is a North Carolina company, and he actually he brought Lowe's from a small North Carolina chain to a national chain. But I do prefer Home Depot's power tool, battery operated line better. But we don't have.
What's your favorite? What's your go-to power tool brand?
I mean, we don't have a Home Depot in North Carolina. I've had these Porter cables for years. They may not be the Makita, but you know what? I have beat the crap out of these things, and they still work.
That's all that matters.
I can't complain. And they're a fraction of the price, too.
All matters, man. Whatever works.
Beaches or mountains?
Mountains. I hate sand with a passion, and my wife loves it.
Why do you hate sand? Did you have bad
Do I?
experience?
No, I just can't stand it.
Does it feel
You
so
have
good?
OCD, don't you?
Yes.
So I have OCD too, and I hate sand.
Yes. I
You
can't
don't like
stand
you don't like it just sinking through your toes
You know why I
and
don't
just
want-
feel one with the earth?
My
What?
biggest problem with sand is that it never goes away. Once
And
you
you
go
know
to the
what?
beach, it's always going to be in your car or in your house. There's nothing you can do to get rid of it.
I got one worse for you, though. You know what's
It's like herpes. You just can't get rid of it.
You
It's
can't.
like
You can't.
because you know where it's going to end up. You know where sand's going to end up? You're going to take a bite of your sand with your potato chip, and you're going to get that one little grain of sand in your mouth. It's like that just ruins my day. Nope,
Yeah.
I'm done. Once it gets in my mouth, I'm through.
Just makes you feel part of Earth.
Oh, no. Hate
Yeah. Nice cup of dirt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just
All right,
bask
Jeff,
in it.
over to you, man.
Bask in it. Put butter all over my body and lay in the sand. What?
Over to you, man. Next, this or that. We'll do one more and then we'll
I
wrap
don't
it up.
know. Pass. I
Man,
don't know.
I'm gonna go. TJ, I'm gonna bring something back for TJ. Is a hot dog a sandwich or a taco? I love that question. It's great.
Is a hot dog a sandwich or taco? It's either hot dog.
Yeah, but you gotta choose one. Is it a taco
But-
or is it a
Is
I would
it
say
a
that's it.
sandwich or a
I'll say-
taco?
I'll say this because when you run out of hamburger buns, you definitely put lunch meat on a hot dog bun.
so a sandwich?
So
It's
sandwich.
You definitely put a hamburger or lunch meat on a hot dog bun at one point. I'm sure you've all done it. It's a sandwich.
Sticky wicket we have here, Kyle. Sticky wicket.
Jeff said a taco is a sandwich.
Because it is. Technically, we're all sandwiches in life.
Well,
We're all sandwiches.
Offshell
And
now.
with that,
I
we're
wanna hear
done.
that. I want to hear the explanation of that.
And now, are we talking hard shell or soft shell tacos? I mean, but does the soft shell taco not a burrito?
I mean, bro, I don't know.
Just roll it up and now it's
Food. Well, again, thank you to everyone for joining for co-hosting. Big thanks to Ed and Jeff for co-hosting with me tonight. And
Always
Kyle
pleasure.
for on. We're wrapping it up here. We'll go around the table real quick. Any final thoughts as we get out of here? Big thanks to everybody who joined us tonight. Big thanks to George Supply Co. for sponsoring this and all of our videos. I mean, couldn't do it without them. If you haven't checked out their merch, go check it out. We like all of the makers have merch out there, and it's worth looking at and supporting all these different makers. So, all right, Ed, over to you. Final thoughts.
I just want to say I appreciate you, Kyle, for enlightening us on your life and your upbringing and your style and the things that you've done. And look forward to seeing where you go. I also just want to say, thoughts and prayers out to all the families affected by the mass shooting in Texas. And everybody stay safe out there.
For sure. Jeff, over to you, man.
Ed, you took the words right out of my mouth. I actually have it scripted right here. I was going to say those exact words. So second what Ed says. Yeah, second what Ed says. And thanks for having me. I love hanging out with you guys. It's always fun chilling with cool people and just talking about cool stuff, And stay fit and have fun. Body break. Out.
All right, Kyle. Any final thoughts, man?
Follow Woodworkers for Christ. Even if you're not a Christian, just everybody needs some sort of uplifting, inspirational message every day. You never know, you never know what kind of mood you're going to be in. So if you guys would just go there and follow it. I mean, even like I said, even if you're an atheist, you don't believe in Christianity, whatever, that's fine. But you know what? There's some positivity there that you can definitely benefit from. And like everybody else said, be kind to one another. Just pay it forward. Empathy goes a long way. Put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Never judge somebody else until you walked a mile in their shoes. So, but with that said, definitely go over and follow me at Hayden Custom Woodworks as well. I'm working on this bookshelf, so awesome. I'm going to make some awesome progress. I don't think I'm going to get it finished before I go on vacation, but I'm going to continue to plug away on it. So I definitely want everybody to take note of this. It's going to be one of the first true heirloom pieces I've ever made. So I'm really pumped to get it finished. I think everybody's going to really appreciate it.
That's awesome, man.
Ed, nice meeting you. Jeff, nice meeting you again.
Ed, I've never actually met you, so it's nice actually putting a face to the name. I think we've chatted lots, and we've chatted in groups, and we've commented on each other's stuff, but it's nice to actually see the face, because sometimes you don't know if we're real or not.
Yeah, I'm
good.
not really.
I'm glad you're real. I'm glad you're real, Ed.
You guys are amazing. And like I said, thank you to all of you for being here and being a part of the show. Kyle, big thanks for coming on and telling your story. We appreciate it. Ed and Jeff, you guys are awesome. Appreciate your questions and being here and your positivity.
Mamma mia.
We'll catch you again next week, everyone. Have a good night.
Cheers, everyone.
See ya.
Punch.